April 30th, 2019. Otherwise known as what the followers of Sonic would call the Day of Reckoning. Before that, the legend of the Sonic movie was just a rumor. A movie that was stuck in the same development hell as the FNAF and Minecraft movies were, destined to never release. But then, the trailer, also known as the First Impact, released. And the world witnessed what we can only consider to be a cosmic horror. A being so terrifying, so disgusting, that the human mind could simply not understand what it was witnessing. Eventually, after a ton of man-children, including myself of course, complained that it was too ugly, the original Sonic design, also known as Ugly Sonic, was sealed off into the gates of hell and banished by some angry man in a green helmet. The world would soon forget Sega's sinful past, and the Chosen One was redesigned, shown off in his new coat of shining majesty. The movie would finally release nearly a year later on February 14th, 2020, also known as the Second Impact. And that brings us to today, April 8th, 2022. That was when I knew it was time to equip the amulet that I definitely did not waste $200 on like a psychopath, by the way. Everything that has happened in my life from the moment I first laid eyes upon this world has all led to this very moment! Hi, yeah, can I get like one ticket for the Sonic movie too, please? Also, I'm gonna need that in D-Box. You know how it is. What's up, my Sonic fan fricks? It seems that I am once again making another video about this goofy, chili dog eating, and occasionally annoying blue cartoon hedgehog. Weirdly enough, not to brag or anything, but my Yakuza video was actually pretty well timed too, since of course, as some of you nerds may have seen before the movie started, we got our boy, Mr. Yakuza himself, right there in the intro. Everybody give him a round of applause. But enough about him, let's talk about why you all clicked on this video, the Sonic Movie 2. Like I did with the first movie, I'll briefly go over the plot and talk about both the positives and the negatives. Although, I mean, how could there even be negatives with a cinematic masterpiece like this? When filmmakers like Martin Scorsese discuss what exactly is cinema, he's obviously talking about this absolute god-tier film. When Jim Carrey started flossing, that's how I knew that this was the greatest movie ever made. That stupid Batman movie that had the actual nerve to be airing at the same time with that whole Nirvana song. What was it like again? Something's in my ass. Oh yeah, that song. Yeah, anyways, that Batman movie is obviously garbage when you compare it to just the pure artistic talent that is the Sonic movie 2. Oh yeah, and Morbius. Of course, you can't forget Morbius. But yeah, anyways, what was I saying again? Oh yeah, but like I said, let's start off with... Starting off pretty much exactly where the first movie ended, Eggman finds himself stuck on the Mushroom Planet, which pretty much looks exactly like that one zone from Sonic 3. Using Sonic's power, he comes into contact with Knuckles, who again, exactly like in Sonic 3, gets tricked by Eggman into finding the Master Emerald and stopping Sonic at all costs. And then he shows up to Sonic's house and it's kinda like this.
When we say never-ending first course, we mean never-ending.
Knock, knock, it's Knuckles. I don't need a pass, I get it on by myself. Adversaries get shelved.
Now, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't think Knuckles was gonna start rapping halfway through the movie and actually kill Sonic, but, you know, honestly, I thought it was a pretty good change of pace. But anyways, yeah, after Knuckles kills Sonic, he somehow comes back to life, Tails saves him, and Knuckles gets tricked to go and find the Master Emerald by Eggman. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Surprisingly, this movie actually follows the in-game plot of Sonic 3 pretty closely. You know, except with its own weird spin on it, like with Longclaw getting JFK'd in the first 10 minutes of the movie. If you've seen the trailers, then you basically know exactly what's gonna happen. Oh yeah, and Tails also shows up, which we can talk about in a second here in... Now before I go too in-depth here, I will say, as someone who is something of a Sonic enjoyer myself, my expectations for this movie were much higher than the first one. While I do think the first Sonic movie is good, I think a lot of people, including me, kind of gave it slack for not being an absolute train wreck, especially with that absolute abomination of a first trailer. The fact that it had Sonic not look like a crackhead, Jim Carrey being funny and was clearly setting up for a sequel, along with the film itself being tolerable unlike a lot of other video game movies, was surprisingly decent. And I'm glad the first movie was so successful that this one was even possible to be made in the first place. And I'm glad to say that for the most part, this movie was also surprisingly decent. To start off the bat, the best thing about this movie by far is that it's mostly focused on Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles. Which is funny considering that there seems to be some movie critics that are actually complaining that it's mostly focused on them. And it's like, okay? And, like, please tell me who actually goes to the movies to see Sonic the Hedgehog 2 and is like, oh yeah man, my favorite character is Donut Lord. The humans in the first movie were so unimportant to me, I still to this day don't even know what their actual names are. But yeah, like I said, I'm glad the movie actually focuses on Sonic and crew. The friendship with Sonic and Tails was also great, and even though I could see some things happening plot-wise from a mile away, the whole Sonic thinking he's a superhero arc was actually pretty convincing. And it was a nice follow-up from Sonic reading comics in his crack den from the first movie. And I'd say the best part of this movie by far is easily
Knuckles, the blow thrower, independent flower, magical emerald holder.
The fact that they made him actually intimidating and not just a dumbass like in Sonic Boom was cool. And Idris Elba definitely helped sell that. He does give me somewhat of a Starfire vibe towards the end of the movie, but like I said, I'd take Fish Out of Water Knuckles over Boom Knuckles any day. And honestly, I'd say his movie counterpart is actually on par with Sonic's in terms of slightly changing the character, but still making him true to his original spirit. Speaking about that, I also like how they portrayed Tails. He's pretty much a one-on-one copy of himself from the games. I'd honestly say he's even better here than in the last Sonic game, Sonic Forces. But then again, that is Sonic Forces that I'm comparing this to, so that's not saying that much. I also like how they actually went in depth with some of the Sonic lore and did pretty much exactly what I criticized the first movie for avoiding, which was introducing the Chaos Emeralds and expanding on what that whole first scene with Knuckles' dad and Longclaw was about. The animation during that sequence and in the credits was also really good. Also, spoilers.
Holy shit, it's Shadow the fucking Hedgehog in 4K!
Calm down.
Calm down!
But now that I'm done talking about the positives, it's finally time to talk about to start off, probably the biggest problem with this movie is the fact that it introduces Knuckles and Tails at almost the exact same time, and as a result, Tails gets kind of thrown in the background as Knuckles definitely gets more of the spotlight. Hell, he literally does get thrown in the background and is straight up dead for at least a good 10 minutes during the wedding scene, which, like pretty much everyone who saw this movie said, went on way too long. I also wish they kind of expanded on Tails' backstory, like what planet he was actually from, since he wasn't on the same one as Sonic. You know, kind of similar to what they did with Knuckles. Similarly to the first movie, the humor in this film is also not that great. Like, I know I probably sound like an idiot saying, "What do you mean this children's movie doesn't appeal to my advanced sense of humor?" Honestly, I went into this movie saying, okay, as long as they don't make any more fart jokes, and then here they come with one almost immediately. And at that moment, I was like, damn it! I'm sick of this shit. But like, seriously, the dialogue for the human characters is so bad. Even Sonic himself, while he's not like Sonic Colors levels of unfunny, almost every joke he says in this movie is literally just referencing a random celebrity. Like, if you took a shot every time he mentions a TV show or celebrity, you would straight up be dead by the end of the movie. And I do get why he's like that, because the first movie established him as, you know, having no life, no money, no friends, and just stalking people through their windows. Another complaint I have about the movie is that I am once again mad they still haven't used any actual music from the games besides Green Hill Zone and Emerald Hill in the trailer. Imagine how cool it would have been if they did like an orchestral version of Big Arm from Sonic 3 when Eggman uses the same robot at the end of the movie. Or, you know, actually used Eggman's theme song, which unironically slaps. I mean, they even had an entire dance scene with Sonic and Tails. Like, they could have easily thrown Supersonic Racing or some trap remix of Green Hill or something, instead of that one guy from Fortnite who nobody cares about. And if you've seen the final credits scene, then you know exactly what song they gotta use in Sonic 3. But now that I'm done talking about the negatives, let's finally move on to the... Unsurprisingly, as an absolute gamer to my core, I liked this movie. While it's not perfect and does have its problems, I like how they actually expanded upon the lore and focused less on the human characters, which I hope they'll continue to do in the third movie. And if I were to rate this movie, I'd probably also give it a 6 out of 10 like with the original one, although I do think that this one is slightly better just because of Knuckles and Tails being here. But like I said, I'm definitely looking forward to the Sonic movie 3 in a few years. And hopefully, if we all pray to the gods over at Sega, maybe Sonic Frontiers will actually be good. But anyways, yeah, thanks for watching, and if you liked the video, why not subscribe? So you can see even more videos of me screaming into my mic like Sammy the Classic Sonic fan about random video games. But yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next one when I inevitably talk about Sonic Frontiers. So yeah, goodbye.